Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 16th, 2020 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone for coming and introduce in our new layout here. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board. To our far right is Vice President.
Right, by the window.
Yeah, but Vice President Gary Merrill, fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis, and
Say far left. I know.
yeah, that's right.
Far left, yeah.
And our clerk today is way over there. That is Jennifer Walraven. So we do have a light agenda today, and then we're going to go into executive session, then come back and talk about plans for the coronavirus that we're developing. So I'll turn it over to Jennifer.
Resolution number 20-259 in the matter of approving electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held March 12th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-259. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today, so that moves us to item number 3, resolution number 20-260 in the matter of approving purchase orders and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0313.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-260. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-261 in the matter of approving travel expense request.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-261. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-262 in the matter of setting date, time, and place for the final hearing by the Commissioners for the Rybob number 620 watershed drainage improvement petition.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-262. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-263 in the matter of a new liquor license request from Little Bear Hospitality, doing business as Little Bear Hospitality, and forwarding to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control with no objections and no request for hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-263. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-264 in the matter of accepting and approving the Delaware County Sheriff's Office transfer report for the month of February 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-264. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-265 in the matter of approving the right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-265. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-266 in the matter of declaring county personal property not needed for public use and authorizing the sale of personal property to Deputy Sergeant Randy Pohl on the occasion of his retirement.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 20-266. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-267 in the matter of authorizing the submitting of an application for 2020-2021 ODPS EMS training and equipment grant for the Emergency Medical Services Department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Anybody? Oh, there's Jenny.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Cochran, Assistant Chief EMS. This is an application for a grant that the state collects funds, seatbelt fine funds, and then they distribute that money amongst all the people, all the departments that apply for the grant. So we don't know how much the grant will be. Typically, we get around $1,500. So I'm just asking for approval to submit the application.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 20-267. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-268 in the matter of approving change order number 21 to the contract between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and the Altman Company for the Delaware County Historic Courthouse.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. We've been working with Schooley Caldwell Associates on the furniture layout, the new furniture order for the historic courthouse project. In part of that process, we went through and coordinated some additional data requirements throughout the whole building. So this change order is to add about 26 different locations for additional data ports, as well as some locations for monitors, additional power, and also includes some additional pathways to get to the data closet on the second floor. I recommend approval.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 20-268. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-269, in the matter of declaring personal property obsolete, unfit, or not needed for public use, and the intent of selling such property via internet auction or disposal of property of no value.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. We have a few vehicles that we've gotten ready to put on the internet auction. There's one item I do want to kind of highlight that's unusual. When the Career Center moved out of the North Campus, they left behind the paint booth that was in the auto body shop. We have no use for it. We don't want to get into the whole process of painting. So our intent is to sell it in place and have them, somebody remove it. Chad Alshire, our facilities coordinator, has done some research, and he's seen some of these go as high as $4,500, so there could be some value to this. So we thought it best, instead of just leaving it for the contractor to dispose of, we'll actually auction it off and see what we can get out of it.
The Career Center, I assume, just wasn't interested in moving it?
Yeah, we got double-checked with them when they moved out on
Okay.
this particular, they said, nope, they didn't want it.
Okay.
So,
My compliments to the benefit of the taxpayers that,
Yeah.
it's been easy to just.
Salvage something out of this.
yep.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 20-269. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-270, in the matter of awarding a bid to and approving a contract with Peterson Construction Company for the Cheshire Pump Station Improvement Project, contract number 1, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. So this is the pump station that's on the corner of Africa Road and Cheshire Road, and it's in need of an upgrade. What we're doing is we're basically building a new pump station just north of the existing pump station on the same parcel. We did get a little bit of an additional footprint from the Army Corps of Engineers to build that new pump station. So we broke it down into two contracts. This first one is for Peterson Construction Company to build the pump station itself. And then you'll see the second one, that's for the force main, a 16-inch force main that'll go all the way down to the south side of Allen Creek, about 3 miles downstream. Peterson's contract is $2.237 million, and it'll go from a 0.9 MGD pump station up to a 3.5 MGD pump station, so it's a pretty significant upgrade. And also the time frame is going to be 480 days to get to substantial completion for this part of the contract.
Mr. Benton normally asks this question, so I'll beat him to it. Is it budgeted? Was it?
It was, yes. It was budgeted for this year, and it was included in the financial model.
How did the contract dollars turn out versus what the budget was?
It's actually a little bit higher. It's about $100,000 over what we had budgeted.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 20-270. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-271, in the matter of awarding a bid to and approving a contract with Truco Construction Company for the Cheshire Force Main Improvement Project, contract number 2, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So this is the 16-inch force main. This one actually came in about $80,000 under budget, so overall, we're pretty much at budget.
So you answered all in one question, under budget, so
Yeah.
one
Right.
citizen answered both
We're
questions.
barely over budget as a whole.
What about the timeline on this one?
This one will be a little bit shorter. This will be a 365-day substantial completion timeline.
When would you start?
That's a good question. I think we'll get into that. As soon as we sign these contracts, we'll have a meeting with Truco to start talking through that. Obviously, we'll be coordinating with the county engineer's office and any anticipated road closures. We would make sure we coordinate with the schools and the fire departments and all those things.
You said a 3-mile closure. What roads?
Just
would it
getting
be?
under Cheshire Road, and we're also crossing Africa on the south side of Allen Creek. I believe we're open cutting Africa, but jack and boring Cheshire, so we wouldn't close Cheshire.
Okay.
This project was done in coordination with the county engineers pre-paving.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
right.
well, both Cheshire and Africa, yeah,
That's all coordinated as well.
okay. Okay, any other questions? All right, vote, please.
Vote on motion 20-271. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes before we are allowed to start item number 15, so that can go to administrator reports.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, County Administrator. Yeah, today I think, I wanted to provide a little bit of a overview on some of the stuff we've been doing with the COVID-19. Obviously, we've been planning for this for a couple weeks, but things have really intensified late last week and over the weekend. The goals that we've kind of set out as we've discussed, are to basically continue our operations, our essential operations in a manner that protects our employees and the public. And also, we want to recognize and work with our employees to mitigate the challenges that they're going to be facing coming to work with all the other closures that are occurring. So that's kind of been our philosophy as we have started to work at the department level with developing plans and stuff that work specific for those departments. Many offices are looking at, I think this has been a good process. We're finding out that there's a lot of stuff that can be done remotely. And so to, push those types of operations right now to reduce the amount of folks is going to be a really good thing. Also, we've had a lot of communication to our employees. Jane Hawes gets a ton of credit in managing that and getting it sent out. But, we have had communication to our employees on March 10th, 12th, and 13th. And we're preparing for a very significant update today as well. We had a meeting with our department directors to talk about these concepts on Friday, and we have a meeting with our elected officials today. It seems like what we're planning today may be outdated by Wednesday, but I think that's what the process needs to be. We're also working on a pretty substantial communication to the public about each office and what their hours are, how to access them remotely. That's going to be our big challenge today, right, Jane, to put that together. So you're going to see a lot more communication with the public. And we obviously have been working our schedules around the governor's updates that are occurring in the afternoon because that seems to be a lot of information that we're gathering. So it's kind of the update I have. I don't know if there's any questions you guys have now.
I had a question. I got a phone call over the weekend. Someone was asking would they be able to get a building permit today because of all the things that were happening. I said I certainly could, but I'll at least pose the question.
Yeah, that's one of the, I think that was a Sunday night email that I sent to Fred Fowler and Tiffany Mag, and we were talking about the departments, like the building department. That's a great example. There's a lot of people that come in for those. We haven't quite been able to launch our online program with Track It. And so we're going to be working through not only people coming in to pull building permits, but then also our inspectors going out and engaging the contractors on site to do inspections. So that is a focal point this morning, but we haven't, tackled that. The other thing I wanted to note is I spent time over the weekend talking to the city of Delaware, Tom Holman. We're making sure that, or collaborating on what each organization is doing, because I think, as you guys know, what the city and the county do are tied, and there's a lot of confusion sometimes about what are city offices and what are county offices, so.
And Mike, you're closely following, I know, the General Health District and everything they're doing there. They put out excellent updates.
Right. And they stay in contact with the experts at CDC and
Yeah.
the governor's
Yes,
office.
they are.
I actually recommended that our code compliance talk to the health department. Some of their inspections they do with food services and on-site sewer systems and stuff tie very closely to what we do on the building side. And I'm sure that they have, I'm sure that if anybody has a very well-established protocol on what to do, it's the health district on those
Yes,
types of,
yeah.
so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to just publicly thank Mike for his
Yes.
leadership on this. We've been, and Jane and Dawn in particular, and all the directors and the others who have helped through this process, because again, I think we're in a very fluid situation. None of us have been through this before, so the keys are preparedness and communication, and I think we're hitting those things, and this afternoon's meeting with the elected officials will be very important, so we can all have alternative plans in terms of how we can still keep the county's business going and protect our residents, protect our employees, and so on, which is extremely important, obviously. So thank you, for that, and Jane, thank you for continuing to communicate, and this is a very changing situation, so I'm sure it'll continue to change in the days to come, but I think we're all reacting and doing what we need to do. So I want to thank everybody. So anything else, Mike, that you want to cover right now? I know we'll have more to update later on today, so.
And keeping in touch with the office holders,
Yes.
as you're doing too. And I know Dawn, especially with our employees, department heads, Mike too. You've all worked as a team, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with the office holders, obviously the office holders control their operations in their office, but the commissioners, are in charge of the facilities. So, my goal, and I know in talking with you guys, is to collaborate with them and making sure we're all working together. If we get to the place where, operations are not being continued or buildings are being restricted, things of that nature. So, and of course, Eric has been, I think Eric and I spoke more over the weekend than we normally speak during the week, but that's to make sure we're heading in the right path as well, so.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, Eric's
Yes.
key to this as well.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. Commissioner Merrill,
Yeah,
comments?
Not only appreciation for the employees and the directors, elected officials, but for everyone that lives in Delaware County and really across the country. I think for the most part, people are taking this very seriously. They're trying to do the right things, and I guess the trite phrase it may be, we're all in this together. And if we pull together on this, we'll get through it quicker. And I think it says a lot about all of us, because we don't generally have these kind of issues in the United States. And so it's kind of, but it seems like we are, and a lot of small businesses are going to be affected negatively with this. Yesterday, the restaurants were affected and the bars, and many of them are going to be in a tough situation. So, but again, we're all in this together, and we're going to get through it together, and ultimately, hopefully we'll help those who need help when we get through it. So those are just my observations. I have one other, anything else? A lot of meetings have been canceled, as everybody knows, but tomorrow is the election. So a lot of,
Yeah, tomorrow is the election, that's right.
so a lot of
Yeah,
precautions have been taken by the Board of Elections, so there is a reason to be able to feel like you can vote in a safe environment, and those that are working the polls tomorrow are really going above and beyond because they understand the importance of voting, and they want to make sure that we as Americans have that opportunity to exercise our rights. So, so please vote, and please show your appreciation to those who are working the polls during the day tomorrow. I am working tomorrow night. Can't work during the day because I'm on the ballot this year, but I am working tomorrow night to help out where I can, and so we'll get through this, and we'll look back, and it'll says a lot about all of us. So that's all I have.
Okay, great. Commissioner Lewis?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone again, and to our residents too. We are working hard and doing everything we can, as Administrator Fromer said, a very fluid situation, but we do have our Delaware Health District is excellent and in contact with our governor, who has done a great job. I saw him interviewed on one of the cable stations recently, national cable stations, and so everyone is really working together, local, state, and national. So we will get through this and be stronger than ever, but it certainly is, it's a tough time. And I would like to welcome our new Gazette reporter, Alexis. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today and being with us. It is pretty unusual.
Very
so-
unusual.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of ways.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very
welcome.
much. You're a graduate of Ohio State? Yes. Well, thank you.
Do you live in Delaware County?
I don't live in Delaware County.
We can get you a realtor.
I'm hoping to move here eventually.
Okay, good, good.
Now, I have a granddaughter who's Alexis. We call her Lexi. Do you go by Alexis or?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
Great, good to have you with us. We've said a lot. Just keep communicating, keep following protocols, keep cleaning everything, and using sanitary procedures that have been recommended. Again, just keep working at it. And like everyone said, we will get through this. I would like to just specifically mention the nursing homes, because they're pretty much shut down, both in and out. My mother's at Willowbrook, and they've pretty much locked it down, which again is appropriate because they're the most at-risk population in this crisis. So, and it makes it tough for them. My mother's at Willowbrook, so I think most of us have relatives or at least know someone who's in one of the retirement communities. And so, do what you can to help them out as well because they're facing some tough times as well. And that's pretty much it for now. We do want to do the hearing.
Yes, we can open the hearing and Resolution number 20-272, public hearing under Chapter 349 of the Ohio Revised Code on applications to add certain parcels of real property to the Concord-Scioto Community Authority District and to amend the petition for establishment of the Concord-Scioto Community Authority as a new community authority.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 20-272. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-273, in the matter of approving for a specific occurrence a suspension of Rule 3, speaker registration, Rule 4, limitations, and Rule 7, public comment procedures from the rules governing public comment before the Board of County Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 20-273. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Okay, with that, the hearing is open. We've waived the speaker rules and other rules that we typically do. Didn't know if anyone, I don't see anyone here who is speaking on behalf of the petitioners, but Eric Hostetler, our counsel, has some comments.
I'm sorry I had to step out for a second. My recommendation is that you continue this hearing. We're still awaiting some additional information from the developer, specifically having to do with subsequent transfers of the property. So this is actually a developing condo site, and the petition references the previous parcel number that predated the plating of the recording of the condo development and some sales of those individual units. So I raised a question as to whether the developer actually had control over that entire property. And I was,
That may be premature then.
yeah, I got a response from Caleb Bell, who said that he believed that they have that documentation and he could provide it, but I've not gotten it yet. So my recommendation is that you continue the hearing. We can decide on a date now. We should decide on a date now so we can fix that in the journal as to the date that's continued.
You recommend
Yeah, I
a
was
couple,
gonna
2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I'd say probably a month. Just to be-
April 16th is a Thursday.
April 15th,
16th.
16th?
I just don't want you to,
Do we have to set a date at the,
yeah,
when we
this is a
continue?
public hearing, so.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We'll have to fix the date now. You can't
Okay.
decide that later.
Any concerns about April 16th?
No, none for me. That should be enough time, certainly.
Square
And if for
away.
some, I'm sorry, if for some reason it doesn't work out, we could extend it again?
Yes.
So we would just extend it to April 16th, 9:45, same sort of thing, Jennifer?
Yes.
Is that okay, Eric, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Barb?
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
All right, we will,
I should take a vote on that
yeah, I was going to say,
resolution.
take a vote on this now.
So that is resolution number 20-274 in the matter of continuing the public hearing under Chapter 349 of the revised code on applications to add certain parcels of real property to the Concord Scioto Community Authority District and to amend the petition for establishment of the Concord Scioto Community Authority as a new community authority to Thursday, April 16th, 2020 at 9:40 a.m. That was motioned by Commissioner Merrill and seconded by Commissioner Lewis.
Okay, any further discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 20-274. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Okay. We will reconvene that hearing on April 16th. So that's it for regular business. Now, we do have need for executive session, so Jennifer, you want to read that?
We do. Resolution number 20-275, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment, compensation of a public employee or public official, to consider the sale of property at competitive bidding, and for collective bargaining.
And
Second.
safety.
And, okay, and for security arrangements and emergency response protocols.
Yep,
So moved.
Second?
good. Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 20-275. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. All right, we're in executive session. They're out there.
Resolution number 20-276, in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 20-276. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.
We
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we're
going to a ditch here.
going to a ditch hearing, so we're not adjourned.
Recessed.
Recessed, right.
Until 1:30.
30.
Okay.
At 674 Harlem Road.
Okay?
All right.
54 Harlem Road.